Okay, hi everyone. Nice to see you. Let me just tell you, before I say all of my hellos, this lady, is in my life today. pretty good, but we'll talk about that in a second. Let me say hi to everybody who's here and waiting. Simon, looks like you're the first one in. Hey up, my friend. Sandra, second one in. Hello, hello. Let's see, we have a Crohn's Intuition. Hello, Jilly. Hi, little Zen Crone. Let's see, scrolling. Jenna Ball. Hello, my friend. Your birthday tomorrow. Let's see, we've got people saying hi. Gracia T. Hello, hello. Patrice. Hi. Elle. Good morning, my daughter. I'm glad you woke up. Good morning. Let's see, who else do we have? We have Val. Hi, Val. Susie. Hi, Susie. Shane, you're here. I'm guessing it's before work. Nice to see you, my son. Let's see. Longman Tarot. Richard's here. Hi. Who else? Jackie Jacaranda's here. And the chat jumped. I was doing so good there for a second. Psychically yours. Hi. White Tree Tarot. Kimberly, hello. Aren't you glad you're doing this weekend instead of what you were doing last weekend? Lise Haas. Hi, Lise Haas. That's a new name for me, I think. Tarot Tales. Hi. Robin, Toadstool Tarot. Hi. Sophie Moon is here. Becca's here. Hi, Becca. Chantal. I was just watching one of your videos, Becca, before this all started. All right. I think I'm caught up with the chat, but if I missed anyone, it was accidental because the chat jumps and hi. So, Althena Mystic Owl Tarot. Hello. Ginger Faye is here. Hi. I love that people are still coming in here. So, last week, Queen of Swords. Oh, this gal. So this is my court card that I've identified with most to date. And I'm putting a lot of caveats around there because I'm starting to feel myself sort of meander through the court, and I will resonate with different archetypes on different days and at different times and all of that stuff. But right this very minute, this Queen of Swords, so right before we were scheduled to go live here, I have a bit of a work crisis that's happening that started yesterday, and things are just not going well. And I'm in a position where I'm just sort of conducting what's going on, and I need all the people to just do their part. And we've had some fall downs. So my Queen of Swords, she's a little bit raging right now. So if she had not come out last week, I guarantee we probably would have pulled this card today. But we get to move on to new and better things. So I look forward to seeing where we're going to move on to next. But I don't know if anybody else had experiences with the Queen of Swords. She did come up in one of my daily draws this week, as happens so often with our Playdate card of the week. It just seems like at one point it makes an appearance, because always. Hi, Emily. Nice to see you. Hi, Chris Kelly. Good to see you. Time for some hermitage. Oh, a hermit would be great today because it's going to be really hot, relatively speaking, here in Seattle today. It's supposed to be 94, 95 degrees. So it's hot. The Queen of Swords is my friend too, but I'm right on the borderline of having her express herself in a shadowy way because it's been a bit of a frustrating weekend, but that's okay. I have you guys to bring me back to center, right? And we're going to have a good play date today, no matter what card we get, right? Right. Okay. So starting off as we always do, I hope you guys are prepared, and gals, to bring forth your questions that we want answered this week with our card of the week. So I collect 5 questions. All caps is super helpful. And Simon is showing you how it's done right now. Thank you, my friend. What can we do to individually and collectively manifest positive change? Ooh, love it. Okay, so let me pause that chat so it doesn't scroll on me. Okay, what can we do individually, and collectively to manifest positive change. Yes, love it. Positive change. Anything positive right now, I'll take. I mean, you know, I'll do what I have to do and I'll face what I have to face. But all right, that was from Simon. All right, let's see. Anybody else got something for me? Let's see. We've got from Jilly. What do we need to watch for this week? Okay, I still need 3 more questions, folks. Don't be shy. What do we need to watch for this week? From Jilly. All right. Swords just got a sword. It's true, Jelly. It's really, really true. All right. From Sue, what's the best way we can work with our cards this week? That's a really new one. I love that. What? I'm feeling all motivated today to be a little bit more proactive with my content. I'm like, oh, I'll film videos today. I'll actually do Instagram today. We'll see how the day plays out. But I've started off with very good intentions. What's the best way we can work with our cards this week? I like that. By coming into the Tarot Playdate Facebook group. That's one way. Plug, shameless. I know it is. I knew you meant individually, Simon. I gotcha. Hi, Heather. Okay, yeah, and if anybody came in while I was collecting questions. Ooh, Jenna's bringing me a question this week. Love it. What type? Sorry, I get very excited. I know I get a little shrill. I'll try not to do that. Okay, what type of goal should we look at this week? This is a great variety of questions, so it'll be really fun to see how our card answers all of them. And from Emily, okay, I've got 5. Thank you so much. I always appreciate it. So from Emily, where did it go? Oh, how can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? How can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? Okay, awesome. Awesome questions. All right, let me scroll through, see if I missed saying hello to anyone in the chat. Jonathan, aloha. Nice to see you. I don't know if anybody else snuck in. Is Gabriel's here? Are we setting intentions because of balsamic moon? Well, you know, if only that question had come up when we were collecting questions. But let's see if this card gives us any clues there, huh? Oh my gosh. When I did that moon series video, one of my dear friends really got attached to the idea of the balsamic moon. And after I did that video, we ended up having like a balsamic moon party where we had like salad or things with balsamic dressing, but also really embraced sort of the healing energy of that balsamic moon. And it was really cool to have a friend of mine get so into it and really help me dive into it more as well. All right, this deck is getting really small. Are we 1 week away? No, 3 weeks away from the halfway point. We're on Playdate 36. We've been doing this for 36 weeks, and some of you have been with me the whole time, and I love you for it. And anybody who's new, love you for it too. Don't get me wrong. All right, so as I shuffle, what can we do individually and collectively to manifest positive change? That's from Simon. What do we need to watch for this week? From Jilly. And then I just look over and I see L Tower. Yeah, well, you know, sometimes we need a good shakeup. But I really don't want it today. Elle, shame on you. What are you doing to your mom? All right, from Sue, we have what's the best way we can work with our cards this week? From Jennifer Ball, we have what type of goal should we look at this week? And from Emily, how can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? I left out a word, but I figured out what it meant. All right, you guys ready? Shuffle, 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 and drum roll. Here we go. What y'all think about that? You know, if it wasn't the Queen of Swords, I'm sorry. This is my fault. I mean, really. And I know some people struggle with this card, but Playdate's here to help us learn and deal, right? So Tarot Tales, boo, Sophie says I've been pulling the Emperor a lot lately, so maybe it's Sophie's fault and not my fault. Chantal says that's my card. Becca, do we all hear it? Do we all hear the tone? Shit. Let's see. What did Patrice say? Because Elle said, I feel you, Patrice. Meh. All right. T-Cat, hi. You know, by the end of this play date, we're all going to be loving the Emperor just a little bit more, right? Just a little bit. That's my birth card, said Aquarius L. Psychically yours. It was my daily card the other day. Simon, taking control of a situation, but can be too dogmatic, right? A little bit too much, too constrained by rules and regulations, perhaps. Yeah. Am I being too dogmatic today? I'm going to have to explore this. I'm going to have to explore this a little bit. Emily says, I got this card yesterday and I didn't really listen to the advice. Well, maybe now that's why he's reappearing, right? See? See, Jonathan said, I was picked to play this card at a tarot party where everyone was chosen a card to embody during the party. It was an amazing party. That's really fun. That's really fun. On the positive side, dedicated to the welfare of all, right? I mean, this guy's looking after his people, right? Oh, it matches my lipstick. Thank you, Chris. Well, there's something positive, right? Show leadership, says Jackie. Sue says, like structure, but usually fair. Jilly says, this is such a grounded card. The warning is to not forget to have some fun. All work and no play makes Jilly a bitch. Makes Jen a bitch too, which is why, now you guys, I don't think you understand. Like today with the work crisis, my usual go-to instinct is to, okay, drop all, take control of the situation and fix it myself, right? But this today, I delegated and I said, I am unavailable until noon because I have a commitment to all of you. You guys need to deal with it and communicate. See, that was good, right? That was good. Heather said, I got this card 2 daily draws in a row this week. See, I think we're all manifesting this card. I don't think I have to put all the blame on myself. Aquarius L, not going to lie, I have a real issue with authority. Many people do. I don't think you're alone. Simon says, structured thoughts, playing by the book. Emily, setting boundaries for yourself and sticking to them. Yes. To protect yourself and others. Jackie, life is what you make it. Always. It always is. I mean, sometimes we have to kind of go with the flow a bit, but let's see, psychically yours, he is rigid and structured, but without him, there's chaos. The trick is to not be too rigid, right? Not get into that all work, no play situation, right? What else does he mean to you? So me, when I first look at him, I always think, okay, this particular guy, you know, and I'm using the gendering very loosely here, you know, he's in control of the situation. He has to look out and kind of see the bigger picture, and he has to kind of guide his troops, right? So to me, he definitely embodies a leader. He is an authority figure, but he's also a leader. And maybe if he leads in a fair and just way, the authority isn't so difficult to accept, maybe when we need to. I don't know. Let me see what your thoughts are, because I was just mostly filling space while I waited for you all to chat. So Isa says, that card reminds me that there are things which cannot be changed, like the law or rules. But can they be changed? I don't know. I cannot get up in the morning. Sometimes I cannot get up in the morning and say, I feel like switching law of gravitation today. Oh, yeah, that can't change. You can't, gravity is gravity. You're right. That can't really be changed unless the moon's orbit completely changes, right? But is it the moon? Don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I'm gonna drink some coffee in a minute. Sophie says, being the one to make the tough decisions. Chris says, manifesting order in life's natural chaos. Simon says, establishing rules and maintaining order, sometimes orderly chaos. Sometimes, yeah, sometimes you can't stop the chaos from happening, but you can at least sort of corral it, you know? Let's see. Robin says, this group is always great in pointing out things to me I've never noticed before, like the little blue stream at the base of the mountains behind his throne, right? Yeah, so we're going to talk a little bit more, too, about all the symbols we'll see in the card, and I'll make sure to do our close-up view that we like to do. Psychically Yours says, also, he has that Aries-Mars energy, definitely. I mean, Aries right here, the ram's head's right there on his throne, right? Julie says, I really like the Emperor from the Everyday Enchantment. Businessman reaching across to shake hands and looking so much friendlier. Speaking of looking at other emperors, so last week we introduced the Melanated Classic Tarot. Whoopsie, some card just fell down because that's what happens here. Oh, it was the Fool. All right, so let's see what I think I can get to him pretty easily here. So we can look at both, but I like to look at the original just so that we can get kind of that original coloring. I don't know if this Emperor looks any friendlier. Last week, I think we thought that the Queen of Swords looked a little friendlier in the Melanated Classic, but these guys pretty much look the same, right? I mean, obviously with the skin color difference, but we'll take a closer up look at him in a minute too. Let's see here. Okay, chat jumped on me. Julie says, think about how hard it was and how much there is to manage in this guy's life. No wonder he's not smiling, right? This guy's probably a little bit stressed. Jonathan says, as the fourth card, this card represents order, systematic thinking, and planning. It builds and preserves, gives formation to thoughts and ideas, also creates a square, 4 seasons, 4 directions, 4 elements. Interesting. Let's see. Hi, Bastet. Nice to see you. Emily says, in several depictions, I notice he has legs crossed in a way with his ankle over his knee, and that position can be indicative of male dominance and aggression. Yeah, I would demonstrate, but but I won't. But yes, I know that posture that you are talking about. So let's take a closer look at him. Let me pull him up a little bit closer, and let's take a look at the elements of the card here. Zoom in on his face, because usually my camera likes that best. Come on. You know. There we go. All right. This one, his throne is still in the picture. I know sometimes Simon likes to point out when the throne kind of extends up, kind of out of view. He has a scepter and his spear. Mountains in the background. Lots of red on this guy, right? Our ram's head's there. Armor under his cloak. And that, as Robin pointed out earlier, that little stream of water. So he's not completely devoid of emotion, this guy. He's got some feelings, right? All right, so I need something to rest my arm on. I don't know why I'm having issues with that. Okay, Patrice said the red equals root energy. Psychically Yours, he can be representing a wise older man, and the melanated, I get more of that wise elder vibe. Yeah, I can see that. Oh, actually, while we're doing this, let's go ahead and take the closer look at him too. Focus on his face. Come on. Oh, camera, sometimes. Sometimes. Let's see if we can get it. Maybe the words. This card's a little bit shinier, so I think it struggles. You can see like the camera is trying to adjust the color there. All right. Oh, there we go. There we got him. Maybe I was too close. So really, really similar. I think the ram's head detail is really beautiful in this one. So let's see what y'all think here more in the comments. White Tree Tarot says, I like the idea that the river behind the Emperor is the same river depicted on the Empress card. He is giving a form and structure to her energy. Yeah, and I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about his relationship to the Empress. T-Cat, this card is all, whoa, come back. This card is all about knowing how to build and plan your life. Like your life would be an enterprise and you were the founder and the employee of it at the same time. Yeah, the red definitely stands out, Sandra. That is for sure. Like confidence all over the place. Jonathan, he is the father figure. The father is supposed to be strong, a leader, logical, makes the rules and enforces them, all about power and authority, right? I mean, the social construct that we've established around all of that, right? So Simon's noticing here the ankh, stylized representation of the male reproductive organs, the procreation of life, a symbol for the renewal of life, in gold, eternal life, also a warning against greed. Right? He's got lots of gold stuff here. So yeah, we got to be careful that we're not just grabbing for power for the sake of it, right? Emily says, in some cards as well, I remember the throne is replaced with horns on the crown or on the head of the emperor. It becomes very earthy and symbolic of the horned god. Yeah, I feel like I've seen that as well. Maybe in the Druid craft, maybe? Or yeah, I'm not quite sure. Julie, you would probably know that. Is that a pomegranate in his head? No, I think that's like a sphere. So I'll do it in this one because I think it's a little easier to see. It does kind of look pomegranate shaped in that one, doesn't it? How about this one? But I think it's meant to be, you know, like those royal spheres, like when the queen gets coronated. Coronated? Is that a verb? But you know what I mean, right? But I don't know. What does the book say, Simon? I know you have it handy. Let's see. Both their eyes look slightly up or darted or thinking, right? Jonathan says, astrologically, Aries is associated with the emperor. Aries represents qualities such as pioneering, assertiveness, impulsiveness, leadership, independence, eagerness, and being headstrong. Right? This guy can be super stubborn. That is for sure. Elle says, Aries associated with taking initiative, strong personal boundaries, and refusing to compromise. So you guys were both kind of pointing out the Aries stuff, but you complemented each other. That was good timing, you two. Isa says, and of course, most of us dream about stability of number 4, which gives us space to go forward. And we learn from those who are more experienced, wiser. And for sure, shadow is in that card as well. Yeah, I think a lot of people have to confront some shadow with this card. But you're right, 4. The numerologically, right? The number for stability. It's interesting. Just a couple weeks ago, we had the 4 of Wands too. We're in a 4 space right now. Simon says the white beard and hair, a symbol of power, worldly wisdom, experience, and permanence, but equally a new beginning. The master is the true beginning. The master is the one who can assess the daily shifts in situations and the tasks at hand, right? And he has to lead the way, which means a lot of times he has to lead the charge. He has to be the first one to kind of put himself out there, right? Orb. That's the word I wanted. Thank you, Aquarius Owl. I appreciate it. Chris Kelly, I hadn't noted the ram on his clothing at the shoulder before. All right. So, oh, yeah. So with both of these guys, let me see. Can you see? So that, oh, does that look like? That's interesting. That does not look like a ram. This almost looks like Africa, the continent, doesn't it? Is that just me seeing that? And then here, but you definitely see the ram there on his shoulder. What do you all see in this guy's cloak there? That's interesting. White Tree Tarot said he wears armor under his cape, leader and protector, like king and knight in one person, right? And he's not going to shy away from the battle. If he has to lead his troops, he's going to do it. Jonathan, he gives order and formation to the world. Also, he is the representation of real manifestation that the magician was channeling into the world, which was being birthed by the Empress, right? And so there we see that progression. That's nice to bring that in, Jonathan. It does look like Africa. Okay, it's not just me seeing that, and I'm geographically challenged, but okay, so other people seeing Africa there as well. That's really interesting. And I don't think this book really addresses the artwork. I would totally be diving into that right now. Patrice says the melanated emperor doesn't carry the white male power supremacy that I can get from the emperor. I love the map of Africa on his shoulder. So this gives you a way to connect with that emperor in a really different way, right? Because I can see why that might be problematic for some people to see that, you know, especially earlier, we were talking about, you know, systematic, right? And so I think that's cool. I think that's really cool that you can see something different in our melanated emperor. Julie says, love the colors, red for groundedness and power and blue for communication. Yes. Yes, this one really isn't this one's really beautiful. I've loved both cards that we've looked at so far or that we've brought into Playdate. I wish I'd had it from the beginning, but that's okay. Can't change the past. Going forward. Jonathan, the Ankh in his right hand symbolizes wisdom. In his left hand, he holds the globe of dominance, which symbolizes his right to rule. Okay, Simon's noting here, the gray throne, rectangular, the material world with its extensions toward the 4 points of the compass. Interesting, yes. Jenna cheerleading for me once again. Thank you, darling. Hi, Water Child Tarot. So, how are we doing for time? Oh, I think we're probably, do you guys have any more thoughts on these guys before we start looking at our alternative cards and answering our questions? Gaia's new sun. He does look regal, doesn't he? Some people like that. Some people are impressed by that. Other people are put off by that. Or it just might depend on the day and the questions and the context, right? Emily, the Emperor is the archetypal read what she said. Archetypal, there we go, figure that encapsulates the kings of the suits. I feel he's most similar to King of Pentacles, though, as earthy. That's interesting because if I were to associate with him with any king, I think I'd be more likely to associate him with the King of Swords just because of that sternness in his face. And it's funny, too, before Playdate started, and I thought, okay, we've already drawn the Queen of Swords. We've already drawn the King of Swords. So neither of those people are going to show up today. I feel like it just makes sense to me that he came up today from my own personal experience and energy that does get brought into Playdate, I'll admit. Let's see here. Jonathan, he is also a protector and preserver. He protects that which he creates and builds from destruction and decay. Oliver's in here? I don't know where he was, but hi, Oliver, if you're in here. Oh my gosh, he hasn't been in here in ages. For those of you who don't know, Oliver is my son Shane's partner. Oh, Guy's new son. Oliver, that's you. Hi. So that's Shane's partner. And you guys may have known him under a different name, but that is his name now. Anyway, nice to see you in here. Sorry, I get excited when my kids show up. I just cannot help it. Okay, I forgot you changed your name on here. That's awesome. I love that name, by the way. All right, shall we dive into some of our alternative cards? Okay, I have the first one. This should be fun. This should bring the Emperor to you in a new way. Actually, a few of my decks, I'm realizing now, will probably do that. I have the cute and adorable Tarot of the Magical Forest. Let's see what our little Emperor looks like in this deck. Can't be so bad, right? With these cute little creatures. Maybe not so off-putting. Oh, I forgot what he looked like. He's awfully cute. He is awfully cute. All right, let me not get myself all tangled up here. Okay, this is the backs, by the way. I have not trimmed mine as so many people have, but look at our Emperor in the Tarot of the Magical Forest. And you still see all of those elements, right? We still see those Aries ram's heads. His eyeballs just crack me up in this. His little armored legs. He's got his little orb sphere, and he's got his scepter, his Ankh scepter. But I kind of love like these stairs going up. Now there's no water in this card, but tell me what else you guys are seeing. Let's see. Those tiny legs. He looks stunned. He's like, okay, you just brought me a serious problem. I don't know what to do next. Maybe is that doubt or is that confidence that we see in his eyeballs? Let's see. Yeah, he's really adorable. Does he have a funny mustache? Let's see. Let's take another close-up look. I don't know what's going on. Yeah, either that or pig lips. I don't really know. A little pig makes me think of Animal Farm, the book. Let's see. And Jonathan had said earlier, the magician and the high priestess represent the divine of heavenly parents. The empress and the emperor represent our earthly parents. Interesting. Emily said, oh, I just remembered in one of the unicorn decks that I don't have the emperor. It's an empty throne with a pile of poop on it. No, that's funny. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he does look a bit freaked out. Do you think maybe he's overwhelmed by his responsibility? He's like, how did I get into this chair? What happened? I don't belong here. Right? Maybe there's a little bit of doubt. Shit. Yeah, so are there any ram's heads on top of the throne? Not in this one, right? Oh yeah, we didn't really note that. Here we had ram's heads that kind of look to the side on the thrones of the emperor, but not here. It's just got kind of those points. And we don't have the rectangle. Earlier Simon was talking about the rectangular shape of this throne. So does that change how we interpret this card when we see that shaped differently? Let's see here. Jonathan says 4 stairs to represent the 4th card. Aha, good observation there, right? We still see lots of red in this card, right? With our red carpet kind of leading up to our emperor. Those eyes, he's like, WTAF, makes me wonder what's behind the card. Emily, yeah, who made me boss? Like, how did that happen? The stairs show depth, yes. But there are ram heads on the arms of the throne, yes. So, and same here too, right? So we still see the ones that are down below here, just not the ones that are up above. So we still haven't lost that association with Aries. Still all sharp edges on the throne, right? So seems very pointed. I mean, I'm not really so afraid of this emperor. I feel like that emperor is more afraid of me and what I might ask of him, His ermine-trimmed cloak reminds me of Santa, says Waterchild Tarot. Oh, that's fluffy and warm. Yeah. He does look a little reluctant, says Tarot Tales. Congrats on the rain, Chantal. Let's see. Did I miss any? Oh, White Tree Tarot. Yes. He looks like I woke up on the throne with a crown on my head. Right? Yeah, exactly. I wonder if, okay, why do I do that? I always put the book away. I can't remember. I feel like these little white books just have, sorry, I'm going to just drop that down for just a second. I feel like they just have keywords. But maybe we get a little bit of insight into this card. Let's see. Oh, there is a little bit about the artwork here. So the little pig takes his role as emperor of the forest very seriously. All the animals expect him to administer his power appropriately, wisely, justly, generously, and resolutely. But above all, they want this territory to be protected and conserved. Climb the 4 steps of supremacy and keep our world safe and sound. Yeah, I feel like he's a little overwhelmed by those expectations, Okay, I'm making a mess back here. That happens. Luckily, you guys can't usually see it. So he has gas, says Ginger. Maybe he ate something bad the night before. Emily, I feel like he might be a little low in self-esteem, but in a crisis, he would come through and know what to do, right? It's kind of like facing that fear and doing it anyway because you've been put in this position of responsibility. And sometimes that's what it is, right? When we have to lead or we're in charge of something or somebody that we're looking to is in charge, it doesn't mean that they're any less scared or nervous, but hopefully they at least have the resourcefulness and the tools to deal with the situation, which is why they are in that position. In some cases, we know there are exceptions to this rule, right? Alice says, I'm feeling some feels about the fact that it's a pig sitting on that throne, being that the police are nicknamed pigs. So I'm feeling you about that. Interesting. Do you think that was intentional by the artist? I'm not sure, but it's an interesting thought and an interesting reaction that you're having there, Elle. Jonathan said the connection with Aries gives the Emperor a strong connection to the fire element, the red color in the card. He looks like somebody just dared to ask him for a BLT, Robin. Oh, well, that's twisted, my friend. Yeah. White Tree Tarot, this gives me a message of formal authority, not earned one. Not earned one. I think I mostly get what you mean. He looks so, no wonder he looks so embarrassed. Emily says, we have to step up or shit hits the fan, but we get on with it because we are actually stronger than we think we are. Yes, yes, yes. And Susie said, I have heard pigs are highly intelligent. So maybe that's why the artist depicted that particular animal in that card. Got twisted, but true. Yes, Julie. So our first question that we want to answer with our emperor, what can we do individually and collectively to manifest positive change? Ooh, oh, there's so much we could dive into with that, isn't there? So this was from Simon. What can we do individually and collectively to manifest positive change? So I find that really interesting, just based on kind of world events of recent. Emily says, it's as if he was crowned because he is next in line rather than he was chosen because of his capabilities. And sometimes that happens, right? Somebody gets in over their head and may not really truly be able to perform the duties that are expected of them. I have thoughts about this here in the US. Let's just say that, right? So Chantal says planning and having the discipline to follow through. So in answer to our question, what can we do individually and collectively to manifest positive change? Planning and having the discipline to follow through. And maybe one of the things that kind of came to me right away is maybe we have to step up and be willing to lead the way. If we want to affect change, sometimes we're kind of waiting for somebody else to do it, somebody else to take charge. And we talked earlier sort of about the systemic representation here in this card. And if we don't like how things are and how things are being led, do we need to step up and kind of, I'm going to be, throw out a cliched term, but be the change we want to see, right? Be authoritative, be strong in our convictions, be confident in what it is that we want to see change, and help be a part of that. All right, but okay, let's see what you guys are saying. What can we be, or we can be more aware to not adopt a piggish attitude, says Robin. Take control of situations, Simon. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Stand strong to influence change. Yes, Sue. See, you guys are getting me. Shane says, not a fan of the pig on the throne. Paired with that, my instinct is saying either take down that emperor and take his place and be the emperor that's needed, or find someone that can, right? So if this guy's not competent, we need to choose our leaders better. Just saying, right? Chris, know our limits. The pig makes me think even the mighty emperor isn't always as assured of himself as he appears. I mean, he's still human. Our leaders are humans and fallible, right? Just because they've been put in charge doesn't mean that they're perfect. So we need to recognize that, right? And do what we can to help guide. Chris says, collectively, we cannot expect some higher power to make the change happen. We need to be the change that we want to see. Exactly. Simon says, knowing our values and applying them, right? Being strong in our convictions. Jonathan, be the leader you wish to see. Yeah. Emily, believe in yourself because you are stronger than you know. Whether you believe you can or can't, you're right. So true, right? If we have that I can't mentality running through our head, probably aren't going to make it happen, are we? Right? That's awesome. All right. I think that was good. Shall we move on to card number 2? We're going to go a very different direction now, because the next card that came up in my random draw. Oh, wait, before I do, comments coming in. Patrice said he looks surprised to find himself on the throne. Where do we need to step up and show up, right? And maybe we need to overcome some of that fear as well. Elle said, I look at this card and want to instantly shout, defund the police. All right. I mean, you've got that pig focus going on. I gotcha. Or at least hold that gas. Yeah, don't let it out. I mean, go somewhere private. Right? All right. So the next one that I have is the cute little, oh, that's shiny, Vanessa Tarot. My Vanessa Tarot in a tin. I think it was the first tarot deck in a tin that I got. So because this is all women, we know we are going to see a woman in the position of the emperor here. So you guys will have to tell me what you think about this. Set her over here. I left the book out this time, right? Okay. So because it's tiny, let me pull it up here. It's a very different depiction of this card. Oh, she looks like she means business. What do you think? Okay, I might need to hold this one a little closer because it is such a tiny card. And I'm also gonna, while you guys are kind of looking, this is by the same artist that made the Maria, is it Cella or Sella? Cella maybe? I don't know that deck. This is the Vanessa Tarot. This is the one that I had on my desk at work for a while because I just thought it was a good one to have at work, right? To embrace. But I think it's meant to be a depiction of different characters, I think, in pop culture and things like that. Like there's one card in here that looks like the woman Celia, Maria Celia, is that what it's called? But there's one card in here that looks like what's her name? Samantha from Bewitched, right? From back in the day. She reminds me of the Snow Queens and the Queen of Swords last week. Interesting. Is that Hillary Clinton? In all honesty, I'm not going to lie. I kind of had a similar thought when I first saw this. All right, where are we? The Emperor. Oh, nothing about the artwork, just keywords. Well, that's no fun. You guys are going to have to do your best at interpreting it here. Let's see. She looks like she's confident and determined. She's taking no shit, said Emily. Let's see. At work, I hold the position of the Emperor, said Ginger Faye. Aquarius Al. Oh, you guys are talking about the Maria Cecilia. Okay. I have seen 3 different spellings of this deck, but hopefully y'all know what y'all are talking about. Susie says she looks like Hillary. Looks like some sort of election campaign. And I don't know when this deck was published, right? So what do we think about this? Is this an eagle? Is that what we think that is? Do we see something different with the crown? Like, what do y'all see in there? She's got lots of purple, which is often like the color of royalty and luxury. So is she a little spoiled, that one? Just gonna see if I could see the copyright on this. US Games. Yeah, I don't see it on here. Perhaps it's on the box. I was wondering if it was 2016. That was kind of what was bugging me. But all right, let me see what y'all have to say here. I can't put my arm down because she's too small. Let's see. What is on the top of her hat? The little red thing? So I think that's the wallpaper, actually, behind her. All right, so I think that's that. But she's got her fancy necklace. Definitely in a press conference. So we still have the Ankh here, right? Let's see. Everybody's saying she does look like Hillary. The eagle on the shield is a reference to Zeus and supremacy overall. Zeus is the emperor of the gods, says Jonathan. Oh, look at that stare. Wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of her, right? Chris says her words have the power to motivate her subjects and bring them into line. I'm getting very Queen of Wands energy from this emperor. She's giving me Hierophant vibes. And I think, Elle, you mean that in a not good way. Julie says, in relation to the question, I'd watch out for the eagle swooping down to get us. Right? Well, that question is coming. But yeah, Julie, that was your question, wasn't it? She's definitely vain. What'd I do? Water Child? I feel uneasy about the banner at the back of her head and her hand raised, right? There's definitely a kind of funky energy, and this deck is usually really kind of cute and light. So this seems very severe to me. So I kind of understand what you're saying, but let's think about the context of the question. What do we need to watch for this week? Ooh, Emily says it's dictator vibes. So right as I was reading that question, I explained the wallpaper. You're welcome. So what do we need to watch for this week? So maybe we need to, the first thing that kind of came to mind is have discretion when we're listening to people communicate to us, right? Make sure we're still, if somebody's trying to force an opinion or force thoughts or information on you, do your due diligence, right? Check your facts. Put in kind of what you know into play, right? We don't have to accept everything that's said to us without question. The responsible thing is to examine it, right? And kind of look at things from sort of all those perspectives rather than just taking the single pointed words that are being directed at us. All right, let's see what else you guys have to say. She needs 3 microphones. Yeah, I don't really know what that's about. I think it's meant to indicate a press conference or something of some kind. Fascist says psychically yours. Yeah, we're not loving this emperor, are we? Jonathan said the emperor is all about power and authority. Typical dictator. Says Del. Chantal, I wouldn't have said that was the emperor of this deck if I didn't know. Yeah, what would you have thought? Would you have thought like maybe the Hierophant like Elle did or something else? Waterchild says, yes, check their message. Ginger, watch our words, be the role model, follow through with what we preach, right? Don't just talk at people, talk to people, right? So maybe when we're communicating, let's be making sure that it's a dialogue and that we're just not throwing words at people and just because I said sewing it, you know? Chris says, I think we need to be conscious that our words have power and can pack a punch. What might seem like a throwaway comment might have a deeper impact. Yes. Yes. Oh, there are a lot of throwaway comments that come there. Hogging the limelight, says Jackie. Jonathan, using your logic and pragmatics is essential. Jonathan, show that you are responsible and serious. Thank you, Susie. Elle says, it kind of reminds me of the Six of Wands, glory hogging. Yeah, you know, and all of that purple and the red and it's really like you must listen to me rather than we're choosing to listen and choosing to be led. I feel like those choices are being attempted to be taken away, right? Emily says, have discernment about who you follow and take everything with a pinch of salt. What do you think, Jilly? Do you think we answered your question all right? I'm hoping so, because I really want to put this lady down. I really do. I don't like her very much. I'm going to be honest. Is that the objective tarot play dating I should be doing? Jilly says, balance with compassion, right? So as a leader, we need to make sure that we are being compassionate. And as somebody who's listening to a leader, we need to make sure that we are being discerning and trusting ourselves a little bit too, right? Again, those leaders are still humans. Robin says, glory hog, hogging the limelight. Those refer back to the previous pig card. Oh, interesting. Yeah, that's an interesting correlation between those two cards. All right, the next one that I have for us today is the Alchemical Tarot by Robert M. Place, which I'm really, really tempted. I have the 4th edition in the tech box, and I'm really tempted to get that 5th edition in the new beautiful box with the matte cardstock because these are shiny. So the matte would look really lovely. Okay, this is a very different emperor. So I'm going to be really interested to hear what you guys think about this guy. Here's our emperor. He's a little more exposed than the usual, maybe a bit more vulnerable. So we have the eagle coming back like we did in the Vanessa. Interesting. Sorry, I was adjusting. Let's see. Tell me when I come back. Am I back? No. Am I back? Okay, thanks. Sorry. Phew. I was like, I really don't want to start and end this stream. And I could still see the chat, and you guys could see me in the chat. Did you see me type in the chat? Okay. Thanks for bearing with me, y'all. Ooh, we lost a bunch of folks during that buffering. Well, thanks to the rest of you who stuck with me. Okay. All right. Back to our emperor. All right. So we went through the buffering. I don't know how much. Let's see. He looks so young. Red hair like the robes. Oh, I didn't even notice his red hair, but you're right. He does, doesn't he? Oh, it looks like a lot of us came back. Okay, that's good. All right. Okay. Thank you guys for staying with me. Elle, it's interesting how still these emperors are. I associate him with more movement. Well, that's interesting, Elle, because I don't really. The Emperor's New Clothes, which is exactly the fairy tale that gets associated with the, I think it's with the Emperor in the fairy tale tarot that I've been lately. So I'm scrolling way back since before the buffering happened. Oh, I'm glad we came back. All right. Sound is back. Refresh. Okay. Oh, you want to see the close-up again? All right. I will do the close-up again because it seems I was buffering when I was doing that. So here we go. Let's get focused. There we go. There. Is that better? It's still super hiccupy. Oh no, am I buffering again? I'm going to put this down for just a second, just to type in case you guys can't see me. Goodness gracious. Okay, you guys are fine? All right. Let's hope this just stays on. Well, let's just keep going. Okay, give me your thoughts on this, Emperor. Okay, Chris says, just because someone appears vulnerable doesn't mean we should dismiss them. Sometimes we need to strip things back to basics to be able to realize our true power. Yeah, I'm going to close this window too in case it's hogging any bandwidth. There we go. Okay, let's see here. Nice abs. He's got a bit of a smile on it. Yeah. His belly's got a bit of a smile. Okay. Elle says, I guess in terms of numerology, the 4 is the birth of the square in physical matter. So my mind warrants more movement, maybe. Oh, that's interesting. See, and for me, it's that stability and that firm foundation. But I love the alternative viewpoints here. Jonathan says, the Empress looks comfortable, whereas the Emperor is tense and aggressive. He screams seriousness. He is serious and has to follow the rules, right? Hold your stature, remain supreme, wise guidance, says Ginger. Chantal said the Aquarius symbol. Oh, is that what that is? Yeah. Right? So maybe it's, which is an air sign, right? Because Aquarius is my moon sign? Yeah. He's prepared to be seen, not hiding behind a lectern like the previous card, right? So he's like, you know what? I can confidently do this. I can expose myself. I'm willing to dive into the fray as well. And I'm with you. You can see me, but I can still lead with confidence. Maybe something like that. Let's see, what else do you guys have to say? He doesn't have to have the robes and throne to be a leader. Exactly. And maybe he's leading more by example than by dictation, right? Dictation, you know, by telling you things. Do as I say, not as I do, right? What a big contrast without the armor. He looks more approachable, says Jackie. Emily, the clouds of thought, strategic plans, problem solving. Yes. Aquarius L, giving us the Aquarius symbol. Yes, yes, yes. T-Cat says, it looks like one of those Greek statues. He is amazingly comfortable with that sharp clawed eagle, considering the fact that he is basically naked. Really shows some boss attitude there, right? Yeah. He's not shy. He's confident in his own skin, literally, right? Let's see, Emily. I actually think his stance in this depiction is quite relaxed, right? So he doesn't have that firm, rigid posture. He's got a slight bend in the knees, right? He's a little more at ease than we typically see. And Emily says, and he's more vulnerable as naked. Bye, Sophie. Thank you for being here. All right, so our third question that we wanted to answer, this was from Sue. What's the best way we can work with our cards this week? So let's answer that with this particular Emperor specifically in mind. What's the best way we can work with our cards this week? So while you're thinking about that, I'll read your other comments here. Jonathan said, in mythology, we can associate the Emperor with the great father gods in older decks. The Emperor has a shield at his feet with an eagle on it, in which was reference to Zeus and the idea of supremacy. Psychic Leor said, though he doesn't have armor, he still looks like he could kick ass, and that body type takes a whole lot of discipline to maintain. Very true. You do have to be disciplined to have that little body fat, right? He's on top of a mountain as if he's talking to his people, said Emily. They hold him up as a role model, said Emily. Yeah. This is the Alchemical Tarot by Robert M. Place. Waterchild says, to me, he's too perfect. Shane says, the Emperor doesn't need clothes and robes and things that give him the appearance of power. He has the power naturally and shows you what he is actually about. He is a true leader. I love that, Shane. So to answer Sue's question, what's the best way we can work with our cards this week? With structure, discipline, and regularity, meaning let's be disciplined about what it is that we're doing. So if you want to be more connected with your cards, you know, maybe, yeah, he's inviting you to establish some structure around that and to be more committed, right? So it's like doing your daily draws if that's what your routine is, right? And trying to hold a little bit true to the rules that you might set for yourself. But maybe also the best way we can work with our cards might be to look to those who we might seek knowledge from, right? I look to a lot of people in this community to help me better understand my cards, or I might pull out my books this week, right? And look to Rachel Pollack and Mary Kay Greer, and take their leadership on board as I'm working with my cards as well. Robin says, consult your cards this week right out of the shower with only a towel around you. Be more open and vulnerable. Something very different from what I've said, but very good way to look at this card. Let's see, what did you say about the throne? Sitting on your own throne in your space and getting more fancy with it. Ooh, like in your space. Yeah, like own it, right? Like I'm going to get my big blue chair here and I'm going to be confident as I approach my cards. I love that. We can use the tarot to problem solve and create structure for ourselves, said Emily. Ooh, I love that too. Chris Kelly says, we need to bare our souls to our cards to get the most out of them. Don't try to pull the wool over their eyes, right? And when you get a card that you don't like, don't shuffle it back into the deck and try to pull another one. Tarot's going to be on to you this week, right? Emily said, we can ask the cards to help support us. Sue said, maybe use more traditional techniques this week. Thank you, Sue. Go back to the books. Emily, what about trying the technique where you select the cards you would use to answer your message and then draw the cards traditionally to see how the Emperor would answer and how they compare? You know what? I'm really interested to see what activity we devised to connect with our Emperor this week, because that might actually help answer the question for Sue this week as well. So Sue, make sure you stick around for the activity, right? Elle, bring structure, use spreads. Ooh, I like that, Elle, right? So those of us who maybe aren't inclined to use tarot spreads and kind of ad hoc through our cards, put that structure using the spreads. Love that. Very simple. Butterfly Magic with Hot Tea. Hello, nice to see you in here. Okay, let's move on to card number 4. We're moving a little bit more quickly today, but I actually appreciate that because I'm a little bit concerned about what's happening with my work email right now. But that's okay. This is a good reprieve. All right. Our 4th deck. Plus, I think you guys have been doing a really great job of answering these questions. So Emily had said, create a dialogue with your tarot and make the spread as you go intuitively asking the questions. Yes. Butterfly Magic said, oh my, that card reminds me of the fable of the Emperor's new clothes where the Emperor has no clothes. Yes, I think somebody else mentioned that earlier today too. And I just had to tell my mom that I have to call her back. Thanks, Jonathan. I appreciate you prioritizing our time together. I do. Robin said, approach your readings as if there's a bird of prey sitting on your shoulder, watching your every move. Speaking of birds, beautiful segue, Robin, into our next deck, which is the Crow Tarot. So this should be kind of fun to dive into. A different kind of animal than what we had with the Tarot of the Magical Forest. Set that guy back there. All right, so here is our Crow Tarot Emperor. All right, lots to look at in this card. Look at that beautiful throne. Standing on a sword. Ram head there in prime position. Is that a little bit of a stream of water maybe happening there? Not quite sure. But he's like in the mountains, right? Not on the mountain, but like in the mountains. All right, we're getting some good initial reactions to this particular card. Sandra loves it. Ginger loves it. Emily loves it. Emily says, I love him. His beak is so strong and firm. He looks poised and ready and confident. Yes. Robin says, I love his color. He wears that necklace of feathers as a badge of pride. Yes. And different feathers than what he has on his body, right? Chris says, resourceful and innovative. Look at how he's using that sword to stand on, thinking outside the box, right? And doesn't it lend like that additional level of stability there, right? I mean, if he were to stand directly on that ram's head, he'd be a little precarious. I mean, although he could probably balance better than I could. But that's a powerful card, says Chantal. I love how he's standing on the sword. Yes, says Emily. Sue, nice card, right? You guys are liking this one. Elle says, I love that he's adorned in feathers, like he's been crowned by nature, not out of force and destruction like what the humans do. It's interesting how the animal world and the human world is different in many ways. Water Child Tarot. Where did he get those feathers? Whose feathers are they? Are they a trophy? I don't know if the book will tell us, but I am prepared because I left it out and didn't put it away so that we could look at what MJ Coulinane has to say about this particular card. He holds strong energy as a winged advisor, says Ginger Faye. Emily, yes, he did what crows do, and he used what he had to create a solution for himself that really works effectively, right? Jonathan says, I see that the sword has 4 points of stability. There's that reference to 4 again. Yes, right? And how it has to balance, right? Front end, back, front edge, back edge of the sword, right? And then I'm thinking are those the ram's heads too on the top of the throne that we were kind of missing earlier? Or is that just scroll work? Looks like it might just be scroll work. Can't quite tell. Emily says, crows are extremely clever birds, so that bird works so well with the emperor. Agreed. So let's see what the book has to say on this particular one, if it addresses the artwork. So here we go. So the emperor represents masculine father energy, whereas the empress offers, let's see, abundant love and nurturing. The emperor brings a solid foundation of order and rules that provide security and stability. The crow stands on a sword, a symbol of power, protection, authority, strength, and courage. The ram head on the throne represents leadership and initiative. The emperor's energy brings order to chaos. Remember, we talked about that way back in the beginning. I think Simon brought that up. He is not a dictator nor taskmaster. He is, however, a strong leader who commands devotion through wisdom and integrity. Crows are known for passing information through their DNA to future generations to protect them from possible dangers. The emperor sits on his throne ready to share his knowledge to ensure all around him stay safe. Channel his power in times of uncertainty. Through fearless determination and expertise, it will manifest success. Ooh, loving all that. So let's see what you guys had to say. Simon says, I wish I could connect more with this deck. I really want to. Well, sometimes you do and sometimes you don't. I'm actually surprised, Simon. I would kind of think you might like this one. Jonathan said it looked like scroll work up here when I was questioning that. Shane. Oh, Shane's always good with this animal stuff. Crows are often, this animal stuff. Hopefully you know what I meant. Shane, crows are often seen pestering larger birds to either steal food or for funsies and have been known to pluck feathers. Looks like he took some trophies of bested enemies. Ooh, interesting. Sandra's like feeling called to use this deck now this week. Yeah, sometimes I pull these decks out and I'm like, ooh, I want to work with that right now. Elle, I don't think you should wish to connect with Dad anymore, Simon. Well, not letting him pass on the probably voice to text typo there. Sue said crows also mourn loss. They care about the collective. Oh, that's interesting. His animal stuff. I know. I knew how it sounded, Elle. I did. Yeah. Okay, so our fourth question, this was from Jenna or Jennifer Ball. What type of goal should we look at this week? So what kind of goals should we set for ourselves this week? Interesting. Right away, I think any goals that we might have that require a bit more discipline and a bit more structure, those are the ones that we should focus on. And I don't know if you have a goal for you in mind that might involve that versus, we have those loosey-goosey goals, and then we have those goals that we know are going to take some work and some discipline to achieve. And I would say between the two, our emperor is telling us to focus on those goals that might require a bit more effort, but it's going to be worth it. You'd be standing on top of that sword throwing a mountain if you get it done. So those are some of my thoughts, but what do you guys think as we watch Elle and Shane do the brother-sister thing in the chat? Sue says it could be a good week to plan a goal step by step and then take action. Ooh, I love that. Emily, what about those small habitual changes that you can make to your daily routine that ultimately amount to massive change in your life, right? And it's that very orderly approach and taking those baby steps that actually mean something. I like that. Jonathan said you may be developing your leadership abilities, taking charge and command of the situation, i.e. life. Jenna says, sounds to me like planning out my patio. Ooh, and that's like a literal foundation, right? I mean, if anything is kind of related to the fours and the stability, that's good. I get a little tingly. I think that was a perfect association there, Jennifer. Strength reverse. Oh, hi, Amy. Move from planning to doing, right? Taking that action. Yes, I love that. Robin says, a judgment call this week to balance on a sword's edge or sit on the ram's horns. Consider your choices carefully, right? Be resourceful in what you're doing. Emily's loving these answers. Yeah, it's nice to see. It's nice to see you in here, Amy. I always get so happy. I'm happy to see everyone. Don't get me wrong, but I know Amy isn't able to come as often. TCAT, a goal that you have postponed for a long time and you would like to avoid forever, right? So maybe that thing that we're avoiding, sometimes we don't like to confront the emperor, but maybe we should stop the procrastination. Tarot Tales says, definitely need to be a bit more emperor. I hate leading. I run for the hills. It would be one empty throne if I were emperor. You're like running off into these mountains, flying away. Chris says, do something different that you normally wouldn't do. Let's see. Al, take pride in yourself. Self-efficacy through building efficacy. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Through building mastery. Emily, be methodical and definitely step by step. Don't rush into it too fast. Don't run before you can work, right? Remember, our emperor likes to see the big picture, right? And he wants to kind of know all those pieces that are on the chessboard. All right. Did I get everyone? Somebody said, I love that, Robin. Did I miss Robin's comment? I hope I didn't. Oh, yeah. Nope, I didn't miss that one. Bye, Chantal. Thank you for being here. And Chris said, or actually take a different approach to the same task. Yes, these are all good answers. Isn't it funny how this one card, I say it every week, but can answer so many different questions. And I love the interpretations, as I always do. All right, another cup of coffee. I did not have coffee for the last 2 days, so I made extra coffee today because I missed it oh so very much. All right, our last one. Let's see what the Steampunk Tarot has to show us when it comes to the Emperor. I'm going to leave this guidebook out as well because that could come in handy. This one's going to be a little darker. Get up close, Jilly. All right. Oh, this guy looks a little sinister. Sorry, I just put thoughts in your head before I showed you the card. Was that cheating? So let's see. Emily had said, it comes back to that belief in yourself as the emperor of your own life. Ginger, as I step back into the role of emperor this week, I need to hold structure, careful resource planning, and take action. Yes. Okay. Yes, Elle, even physically changing your body posture to stand tall. It weirdly works. That's a good idea, Elle. All right, let's take a look at our Steampunk Emperor. Come on, buddy. He's shiny, so you know how my camera likes to take a minute on those. Pulling back a little bit. He's got a monocle, but I don't know if you can see it. Come on, dude. You know you want to. There we go. And he's got like steampunk goggles on his head. Oh, look here, the elements on the throne. Interesting. So instead of the ram's head, we have the 4 elements. We were talking about earlier, kind of those 4 points and stability and all of that. He's got his suit on with his cape. What do you think? Ginger says he looks more confident. T-Cat says this deck has been on my wish list forever. Jilly, magnifier on. See, I got you, girl. Let's see. Look at that body language, though. Yeah, he's got a little bit, to me, it's coming off a little bit arrogant. He seems more relaxed, but in a, yeah, I don't give an F kind of way, you know? Susie says, I feel he poses himself. His mind is like a machine. The gears are working, says Robin. He's a bit creepy, says Emily. I felt like I read the poses himself. Oh, Jackie's comment. Cogs above his head. Cogs worrying, right? Constantly thinking. Chris says monocle in one eye, paying attention to the details as much to the bigger picture. An ability all emperors need. Sue says he looks like a Bond supervillain, right? Like with that mustache and the pointy, like he totally does. Jonathan, 4 elements, 4 directions, 4 seasons, definitely. He looks a bit kinky too, says Emily, like he has a red room or something. Like what's his name? Christian? I forget his last, Gray. How could I forget the last name, right? How could I do that? Sorry. Yeah, I read it. I did. All right. Water Child Tarot. Sorry, y'all. My internet is super glitchy. All right. Well, thank you for being here. I think part of it was on my end too. So Comcast seems to be having an issue. Emily's like, yes, Christian Gray. So let's see. Someday soon with the Steampunk Tarot. Do we want to see what Barbara Moore has to say about this guy? I'm just like flipping as if you said yes. Elle says, why does he look like a vain poet to me? The Emperor is the writer of his own story, question mark? Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. All right. Oh, okay. My arms are tired. I've started, my chair sits up higher than the chair I used to sit in. And so then my camera has to go higher, which puts me further away from where I used to rest my arms. So I got to figure that out one of these days. This is good upper body workout. The Emperor, unlike the Empress, has strictly political and worldly associations. Like the Empress, this card reflects the ideal characteristics of the role. As we have seen, the Empress is the essence of creative power. Let's focus on the Emperor, okay? Which is based on ever-changing cycles. The Emperor, on the other hand, generates straight lines, grids, and constancy. Associated with the number 4, the Emperor embodies all the characteristics of the number, including stability and reliability. So I'm not going to keep going because it's actually quite long, but I think it's a lot of what we've kind of talked about. I was going to see if there's anything sort of that jumped out at me, but yeah, I recommend you read the book if you want to know more about this particular Emperor. He sits there like for a portrait to last forever, says Susie. Oh, that's interesting. Amy says, competent people who know their stuff don't need to get emotional when they communicate. Yes. Jonathan said, the fact of life is that everything changes, dies, and decays. It is interesting to note that the death card is 13. 1 + 3 = the Emperor. Thus, death and the Emperor are connected and represents a desire, ... to hold on to what we own or create, resisting death and decay of those things. Interesting, right? And a lot of times we try to hold on to things too tightly, right? We don't want to let the ebb and flow of life kind of move us along, right? We want to stay in the happy moments. We want to stay in the controlled moments, or the things that we can control, right? We're moving through the whole darn deck. You know we are. She doesn't describe the artwork, says Elle. Yeah, I don't know. I need to, like, I always like what she says and how she says it, but you might be right. She doesn't really focus on the artwork. Oh, Amy says, I didn't finish. When confident, they are not emotional and can seem arrogant. Reminds me of the Lightseer's Emperor. Now I have to remember what that guy looks like. He looks a lot like Snape from Harry Potter, says Tarot Tales, right? He does. He does kind of look like that. Snape wishes he was Emperor. I think he probably does, doesn't he? All right, so our 5th and final question, and then we'll talk about reversals and get the activity, so don't leave me just yet. How can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? So how does this guy tell you to give yourself grace and kindness this week? Shane said, this Emperor gives me the embodiment of all 4 kings. Ooh, that's an interesting observation, Shane. T-Cat says, the Emperor looks like your boss who is like, okay, what is your plan and how are you going to get there? Right? He's also the one that says, don't bring me problems, bring me solutions. Right? He's that guy. I totally see it. Right? So what do you guys think? How can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? So that was Emily's question. So maybe once again, I love it when I don't have to answer and you guys start answering. Jonathan says he indicates many positive things such as security and stability. Things are working and operating as they should be. Emily says, yes, bring me solutions. I see that. Exactly, John. Thanks. Glad you guys get it. I love it when you get what I'm saying, you know? So how we can give ourselves grace and kindness, maybe it's to have trust and confidence in ourselves. Like the things that we've set in motion, we've done so for a reason and with purpose. So maybe there are certain areas where we've had to take some kind of a leadership role, or we've had to drive the direction of something, and trusting that we've done so with the right information and with the right intentions then allows us to not second guess ourselves, beat ourselves up. Maybe something like that would be one way we could look at how the Emperor could answer that question. What do you guys think? Jenna, cheerleader Jenna. Were you a cheerleader in high school? I mean, all right. Nobody has thoughts on this? Am I buffering again? What's happening? Bring your thoughts. All right, Kristen, to save the day, focusing inward on ourselves and focusing outward, helping others can both be incredibly rewarding. The sweet spot is to get the balance between the two. Yes. Yeah, me too, Jennifer. I ended up doing the drill team instead. I was just talking to Elle about that the other day, actually. Any other thoughts on that? So Emily, did you have any thoughts on how he can answer your question? How can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? Not to put you on the spot, but maybe he's just saying, hey, bring me solutions. Sue, you're back just in time to help us answer the question that our steampunk tarot emperor is answering, which is how can we give ourselves grace and kindness this week? Patrice says, we need to stand in our own power this week and not judge ourselves by other standards. Trust ourselves. Yes. Emily says, for me, I think it was showing me to feel secure that I would be safe because I am, and my thoughts and fears are not me. Plus, I need to allow myself space to rest and honor those boundaries. Thank you for sharing that. I actually really appreciate that. White Tree Tarot, maybe by allowing ourselves to have some predictable and a bit boring but comfortable routine, right? Good stuff, you guys. So what happens when our emperor is in be strong in our convictions, says Sue. Thank you, coming in with an answer for us. So what happens if our emperor is in a reversed position, or if you don't read reversals, is in a position in a spread or answering a question in a way that leads to challenging energy or a blocked position of some kind? Trump, says Emily. Ella said earlier in answering the question, hold strong in your values and boundaries. Don't betray yourself. You're the royalty emperor in your life. Treat yourself with the respect you deserve. Oh, I love that. Treat yourself with the respect you deserve. Yes, Elle. Jonathan said we can bring grace and kindness by tying our logic and emotions together and not be too unemotional or stubborn, being willing to change, right? So don't get into the shadowy aspects of this card, right, Jonathan? Reversed, it becomes static. Yeah, are we being way too stubborn, way too stuck in the order, right? And the rules and authority. Or maybe we are in a position where that authority is especially challenging to us for some reason. Patrice, what's that routine? During this pandemic, my days lack structure. Mine almost have too much structure, right? Not enough variety. That's interesting. Emily says, reverse, this is Trump. Not going to argue. Chris is reverse, placing too much importance on control. Failure to appreciate that sometimes we just need to embrace the chaos. Some things are meant to be controlled. Some things are meant to be controlled or are not meant to be controlled. Maybe that's what you meant. Tarot Tales says this could represent passivity. Yes, Jonathan, says Emily, and allowing ourselves to change our minds and give ourselves the grace to recognize we are only human and fallible. So kind of back to that question about being kind to ourselves. Elle, you can respect me. I'm not even buying into that little baiting. Jonathan, reversal. He can be a tyrant using his power and authority for his own means. He can be strict, unemotional, uncaring, and ruthless, right? Also, he can be stubborn and unwilling to change. Yes, Jonathan, I need that for this week, especially next week when all chaos begins. Patrice says routine and structure turned on its head, right? So maybe we've lost, or maybe we've lost the reason for the structure and we don't know why, and maybe we're just kind of blindly following along with the rules and the regulations, but we've lost the meaning behind that to help reinforce it in a positive way. Very stubborn, reversed, yes, said Emily. Good stuff. All right, so I won't keep you too much longer on the reversal because I want to give you the activity, and we're coming up on noon here, or at least my time. Jonathan, accepting new information may challenge his views. He holds on. Let me put this back up while I read these because you guys have all kinds of thoughts. So he holds on to what he owns or what he views as his. His logic and reason becomes the only things he has access to as he lacks any emotional ... We'll have to wait for the rest. In the meantime, TCAT, hardships to trust on your own power and have a hard time navigating your own life to the direction where you want. Emily, when routine and structure becomes a trap or a prison, it's no longer healthy, it's dangerous and damaging. L, baiting, a shadow side of the emperor. You passed the test. Amy. He's not going upside down for me today. Nope. Amy says, treating others like children, too fatherly and controlling, right? And kind of getting back, doesn't it feel like she was sort of like the reversed depiction of this card? I felt like that's kind of how we all sort of interpreted her right from the beginning. Let's see, Jonathan, that was regarding to the kindness comment, not the one after. Oh, Ginger, that was to Jonathan. And okay, so Jonathan's ... connection or intuitive input. The emperor can also signify a lack or total loss of control, self-control, or control of others or a situation. His personality can go into two extremes, either total aggression to show his dominance or total passiveness to show his weakness. Or maybe fear. I mean, this poor guy upside down is in a real pickle, isn't he? I don't know. All right, you guys are awesome as always. So if anybody still likes to look at the Tarot Playbook, I haven't seen anybody post any of the activities in here, moi included, in, since the Nine of Pentacles, I don't think, which was our very first Playdate. But if you're interested in finding a new way to connect with your deck and letting this book guide you, the Emperor has an activity on page 20 called Building a Bridge. And this is quite, it even comes with a diagram. I don't know really what it's about, but you're going to ask your cards decks to show you how it sees your relationship. Oh, interesting. So this is a kind of an activity related to using your deck to answer a relationship question. That's odd for the Emperor, I think. Let's look at our activity that we came up with before Playdate started. So my alternate activities list for those who don't have the book or don't like the book, and both have applied. All right, so our activity this week is called Confidence Makes a Difference. And as a reminder, I will put this in the description box below this video. I will post it in the Tarot Playdate Facebook group, so you don't have to frantically write this down. As many times during the week as you would like, grab your deck and draw a card or multiple cards. Make your notes on any initial impressions. Then turn the cards face down. Next, stand or sit for 1 minute. Set a timer so you don't cut it short. In your most confident, powerful pose. The superhero pose is always a great option. So earlier, Elle was actually saying in the chat, like expressing that confidence, right? Standing confident, right? Now, turn the cards over. Does your increased confidence as you're interpreting those cards reveal anything new about them? So kind of look at it first, get your initial impressions, and then adopt your most confident stance and see if that changes how you look at the card or maybe the question that you ask the card. So that's a fun little activity that you can do. And if you do and want to share your results of that activity in the Playdate Facebook group or on Instagram with the hashtag Tarot Playdate, or show me your favorite or not favorite Emperor cards that you have in your collection, I would love to see them. All right, let me see if I missed any final comments here. Let's see, Jonathan has said, oh, his personality, oh, we talked about that. Elle said, this was so interesting how polarizing the Emperor card can be. The first two completely turned me off. Yeah, but then he came back, right? We learned more about these cards. And Isa said, you lose sense of yourself and you're ready to follow anybody, everything with no right direction towards light, etc. All right, you guys, thank you so much for another great play date and for tackling this really interesting archetype in the tarot with me. I appreciate it. And hopefully I will see you all next week for tarot playdate number 37. Anyway, hope you guys all have a wonderful, wonderful week. And I am sending you, as always, much love. Bye.